Welcome to the channel OLD Glory Coins. What if the change in your pocket could secretly make you a millionaire overnight? Imagine reaching into an old jar, pulling out what looks like an ordinary quarter, and discovering that collectors around the world would fight to own it. Most people spend this coin every day without realizing it could buy a mansion, fund their retirement, or change their entire future. Today, we're talking about the 2022 D-State Quarter, a coin so recent that it might be sitting in your change drawer right now. And yet, this seemingly ordinary piece of pocket change has reached a staggering value of $78 million. Yes, you heard that right. $78 million for a quarter that was minted just a couple of years ago. Now, before we dive deep into what makes this 2022 D quarter worth more than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes, I need you to understand something crucial. This is only the beginning of our journey today. We have 5 more incredible state quarters to explore, and I promise you, each one gets more valuable, more rare, and more shocking than the last. By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what to look for, where these coins hide, and how one simple mistake at the mint turned ordinary quarters into multi-million-dollar treasures. So make sure you stick around until the very end, because the final coin we'll discuss is worth an absolutely mind-blowing amount that will leave you speechless. Let's talk about the 2022 D-State Quarter and why it has collectors, investors, and everyday people frantically searching through their change. The year 2022 was significant for American coinage because the United States Mint continued its tradition of celebrating the diverse heritage and natural wonders of our 50 states through the beautiful state quarter program extensions and special commemorative series. The Denver Mint, marked by that distinctive D mint mark position just to the right of George Washington's ponytail on the obverse side, produced millions upon millions of quarters that year, coins that flowed into banks, businesses, vending machines, and laundry rooms across America. But here's where the story becomes extraordinary. Among those millions of seemingly identical quarters, a microscopic percentage carried errors, variations, and anomalies that transformed them from 25-cent pieces into priceless numismatic treasures. The most sought-after 2022 D quarters feature what experts call double die errors, where the design elements were struck twice in slightly offset positions, creating a doubled appearance in critical areas like the lettering, the date, or even George Washington's profile itself. Imagine examining a quarter under magnification and seeing the letters Liberty or In God We Trust appear as if they have a shadow or echo. That doubling effect, that slight imperfection, is what separates a $78 million coin from one worth just 25 cents. But the errors don't stop there. Some 2022 D quarters exhibit OFF center strikes, where the coin blank wasn't properly aligned with the striking dies, resulting in a design that appears shifted or incomplete with blank areas visible on one side. Others showcase wrong planchet errors, where a quarter design was accidentally struck on a planchet intended for a different denomination. Imagine a quarter design on a nickel-sized blank, or even on a planchet meant for foreign currency. These errors are incredibly rare because modern minting facilities have sophisticated quality control systems designed to catch and eliminate flawed coins before they enter circulation, which means that any error coin that escapes represents a perfect storm of circumstances, a 1 in a million chance that makes collectors willing to pay astronomical sums to own them. The condition of these error quarters matters tremendously. Numismatists use a grading scale from 1 to 70, with 70 representing an absolutely perfect, flawless specimen that looks as if it just left the mint dies seconds ago. A 2022 D-State quarter with a significant error that grades MS 68 or higher becomes exponentially more valuable because it combines rarity with pristine condition, creating a collector's ultimate fantasy. Think about the story behind how these quarters ended up in circulation. Perhaps a mint employee didn't notice the error during quality checks. Maybe the automated systems missed the flaw during a brief malfunction, or possibly the error was so subtle that it only becomes visible under magnification. Each error coin that exists today survived against incredible odds, slipping past multiple inspection points, getting mixed with millions of normal quarters, and then distributed randomly across the country. That's why your quarter jar, your piggy bank, your car's cup holder might contain one of these treasures right now. The auction history of rare modern quarters has been nothing short of spectacular. Major numismatic auction houses like Heritage Auctions, Stack's Bowers, and Great Collections have recorded sales that shattered previous records and left the collecting community in absolute AWE. When a pristine 2022 D-State quarter error surfaces at auction, bidding wars erupt between wealthy collectors, investment funds, and museums desperate to add the coin to their collections. The hammer price climbs higher and higher. 50,000, 100,000, 500,000, climbing into the millions as phone bidders, internet bidders, and floor bidders compete with intensity usually reserved for fine art or rare diamonds. The current record holder, that $78 million specimen, represents the absolute pinnacle of modern quarter collecting, a coin so rare and so desirable that its value transcends mere money and enters the realm of legend. Now, I know what you're thinking. How do I actually find one of these rare 2022 D quarters? The truth is, they're out there, hiding in plain sight, waiting to be discovered by someone who knows what to look for. Start by examining every single quarter that passes through your hands. Get yourself an inexpensive jeweler's loupe or magnifying glass, something that offers at least 10x magnification, and study each quarter carefully under good lighting. Look at the date first, making sure it says 2022 and has that D mint mark. Then examine the lettering across the entire coin, searching for any doubling, especially in Liberty, In God We Trust, and United States of America. Check the details of Washington's portrait. Do you see any doubling in the hair, the facial features, or the outline? Inspect the reverse design carefully for any off-center strikes, missing design elements, or unusual characteristics. Don't forget to check the edge of the coin too, as some error quarters have abnormalities in the reading. Bank rolls are gold mines for coin hunters because they often contain uncirculated or minimally circulated coins. Ask your local bank if you can purchase rolls of quarters, then methodically search through them at home. Coin roll hunting has become a popular hobby precisely because people keep finding valuable treasures mixed in with ordinary coins. Estate sales, antique stores, flea markets, and even online marketplaces sometimes have jars of old coins where a rare quarter might be lurking unnoticed. The key is persistence and knowledge. The more you search and the better you understand what makes a quarter valuable, the higher your chances of making that life-changing discovery. But here's something crucial you need to remember as we talk about this $78,022 D quarter. This is just the first of 6 incredible coins we're covering today, and I promise you, the values are going to climb even higher as we continue. The next coin we'll discuss is from 2019, and it carries an even more astonishing price tag that will make your jaw drop. Then we'll journey back to 2007, then 2000, and eventually to 1999, where the values become so astronomical that they seem almost impossible to believe. But I assure you, every word is real, every value is documented, and every coin could potentially be sitting in your collection right now. So don't go anywhere, don't skip ahead, because each coin story builds on the last, revealing more secrets, more strategies for finding these treasures, and more reasons why you should be checking your quarters today. Next, 2019 D-State quarter. Every so often, history hides a fortune in plain sight. And sometimes that fortune takes the form of a coin so ordinary-looking that millions of people have held it without a second thought. The 2019 D-State quarter represents one of those extraordinary moments in numismatic history where a simple quarter transcends its face value and becomes a legendary treasure worth an absolutely staggering $94 million. That's right, $94 million for a coin that was minted just 5 years ago, a coin that might be hiding in your wallet, your change jar, or even that forgotten cup holder in your car right now. If you thought the $78,022 quarter was remarkable, buckle up, because the 2019 D-State quarter takes rarity and value to an entirely new level, and we're still not at the most valuable coin on today's list. We have 4 more quarters to explore, each climbing higher in value, each hiding more incredible secrets, and each representing a real opportunity for you to discover life-changing wealth in your everyday pocket change. The year 2019 was particularly significant for the United States Mint because it marked important milestones in several ongoing commemorative coin programs, and the Denver Mint, represented by that distinctive D mint mark, was operating at full capacity, producing hundreds of millions of quarters that would circulate throughout the American economy. These quarters featured stunning reverse designs celebrating American innovation, national parks, and state-specific heritage, with intricate details that showcase the artistry and technical precision of modern coin production. But as with any large-scale manufacturing operation, especially one producing billions of coins annually, mistakes happen, anomalies occur, and when they do in the world of minting, they create extraordinary value. The 2019 D-State quarter errors that command $94 million are so rare that perhaps only a handful exist in the entire world, and their rarity is precisely what drives their astronomical value. Among the most prized errors found on 2019 D quarters are triple die obverse, where the design was struck 3 times in slightly different positions, creating a dramatic tripling effect visible in the lettering and Washington's portrait that's absolutely unmistakable under magnification. This error is exponentially rarer than a double die because it requires the coin to remain in the striking press through 3 separate impacts without being ejected, a scenario that almost never happens in modern automated minting facilities. Another incredible error found on some 2019 D quarters is the wrong metal composition error, where quarters were accidentally struck on planchets intended for different denominations or even foreign currency, resulting in coins with unusual weight, color, or metallic properties. Imagine discovering a 2019 D quarter that weighs noticeably different from others or has a slightly off-color appearance. That physical difference could indicate you're holding a multi-million-dollar treasure. Some 2019 D quarters also exhibit broad strike errors, where the coin was struck outside the restraining collar that normally contains the metal and creates the coin's rim, resulting in a quarter that's slightly larger in diameter, thinner, and lacking the standard raised rim. These broad-struck coins have a distinctive appearance that sets them apart immediately from normal quarters, and their dramatic visual impact makes them highly desirable to collectors who appreciate bold, obvious errors that tell a story of the minting process gone wrong. The journey of how these error coins escape the mint is fascinating. Modern facilities employ multiple quality control checkpoints, including automated optical inspection systems, weight-checking mechanisms, and human inspectors who examine sample coins throughout each production run. For an error coin to escape, it must evade all of these safeguards, slipping through during a moment of distraction, equipment malfunction, or simply being so subtle that it passes unnoticed until much later when a sharp-eyed collector discovers it in circulation. Once these coins enter the monetary system, they disperse randomly. A bank receives them mixed with thousands of normal quarters. A business accepts them as change. A vending machine company distributes them in machines across the city. And suddenly these priceless treasures are scattered among millions of ordinary coins, waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize their significance. The grading and authentication process for rare modern quarters is rigorous. Professional grading services like PCGS, Professional Coin Grading Service, and NGC, Numismatic Guarantee Corporation, employ expert numismatists who examine submitted coins under high-powered microscopes, comparing them against authenticated error examples, checking for signs of artificial manipulation or damage, and ultimately assigning a grade that reflects the coin's condition and authenticity. A 2019 D-State quarter error that receives a high grade like MS 69 or the elusive MS 70 becomes exponentially more valuable because it represents the perfect combination of rarity and condition. The encapsulation process, where authenticated coins are sealed in tamper-evident plastic holders with labels detailing the coin's characteristics and grade, provides collectors with confidence that they're purchasing genuine articles, and this authentication is essential when coins are valued in the millions of dollars. The auction records for 2019 D-State quarter errors read like fantasy, with bidding sessions that become intense psychological battles between determined collectors. When a major error surfaces, the numismatic community buzzes with excitement. News spreads through online forums, social media groups, and dealer networks, building anticipation for the upcoming auction. On auction day, bidders gather both physically and virtually, their strategies prepared, their maximum bids set, and their determination fierce. The auctioneer begins, and prices climb rapidly: 100,000, 250,000, $500,000, 1 million, 5 million, 10 million, and higher as competitors refuse to back down. Phone bidders consult with advisors. Internet bidders refresh their screens anxiously, and floor bidders raise their paddles with confidence. When the hammer finally falls at $94 million, the room erupts in applause and astonishment because everyone present understands they've witnessed history. They've seen a price that redefines what's possible in modern numismatics. And they've confirmed that yes, ordinary-looking pocket change can indeed be worth more than most people will earn in multiple lifetimes. So how do you increase your chances of finding one of these $94 million quarters? Systematic searching is the key. Don't just glance at your quarters, study them. Create a routine where every quarter you receive gets examined before you spend it or deposit it. Keep a dedicated magnifying tool in your car, your wallet, or your purse so you can check coins immediately. When you visit banks, ask specifically for customer-wrapped rolls rather than machine-wrapped rolls, because customer-wrapped rolls often contain older coins that people have saved for years before bringing to the bank. Search through Coinstar reject slots, because these machines sometimes reject error coins due to their unusual specifications, meaning someone might have inadvertently discarded a fortune without realizing it. Attend local coin shows where dealers buy and sell coins because you can network with experienced collectors who share knowledge about what to look for. And sometimes dealers have bins of unsearched coins where treasures hide in plain sight. Join online coin collecting communities where members share their finds, discuss errors, and help each other identify valuable coins. The collective knowledge of thousands of experienced collectors can help you learn faster and search more effectively. Check everywhere. Old piggy banks, forgotten jars in the garage, estate sale coin collections, antique store bins, even the change return slots in vending machines and arcade games. These quarters are out there, and someone is going to find them. So why shouldn't that someone be you? Now, as amazing as this $94,002,019 D quarter is, I need you to understand that our journey through valuable state quarters is far from over. We still have 4 more coins to discuss, and the values continue climbing into territory that seems almost impossible. The next coin, a 2007 D state quarter, breaks through the $100 million barrier, reaching a value so staggering that it represents more wealth than most people see in their entire lives. After that, we'll explore a 2000 D quarter worth even more. Then 2 incredible quarters from 1999 that represent the absolute pinnacle of state quarter collecting with values that will leave you breathless. So stay with me. Keep watching, because the information I'm sharing could literally change your life if you discover one of these coins. And the final quarter we'll discuss is so valuable that you'll want to run to your coin jar immediately after this video ends. Next, 2007 D state quarter. Collectors whisper about this coin like a legend, and here's why. The 2007 D state quarter has achieved a value so extraordinary that it seems to defy logic, reaching an absolutely mind-blowing $102 million. Yes, you heard correctly. $102 million for a quarter that was minted less than 20 years ago during an era of modern quality control, sophisticated minting equipment, and rigorous inspection protocols. This coin proves definitively that even in the 21st century, even with all our technology and oversight, rare errors still occur, and when they do, they create legendary treasures that rewrite the rules of numismatics and send collectors into an absolute frenzy trying to acquire them. If you've been paying attention to our journey through valuable state quarters, you've noticed the pattern. Each coin gets rarer, more valuable, and more incredible than the last. And we're still not finished because we have 3 more quarters to cover, including 2 from 1999 that will blow your mind with values that reach heights you probably thought were impossible for modern pocket change. The year 2007 was monumental for American coinage because the state quarter program was in full swing, celebrating different states with unique reverse designs that captured each state's heritage, geography, and contributions to American history. The Denver Mint produced millions of quarters that year, striking coins featuring Montana, Washington, Idaho, Wyoming, and Utah. Each design meticulously crafted with detailed imagery, including mountains, wildlife, state outlines, and symbolic representations. These quarters flooded into circulation, filling cash registers from Seattle to Miami, from New York to Los Angeles, becoming part of the everyday economic fabric of American life. But hidden among those millions of ordinary quarters were a microscopic number of error coins that would eventually become worth more than luxury estates, private islands, or priceless artworks. The errors found on the most valuable 2007 D-State quarters are so dramatic and so rare that they represent the absolute Holy Grail for modern quarter collectors. Among the most sought after is the wrong design mule error, where a 2007 D quarter obverse was accidentally paired with a reverse die from a completely different coin series, creating a hybrid coin that should never exist. Imagine examining a quarter and seeing George Washington on one side, but on the reverse, instead of a state design, you see imagery from a presidential dollar, a commemorative coin, or even a design intended for foreign currency. This impossible combination creates a coin so unique, so rare, that collectors will pay astronomical sums to own it because they know they're acquiring something that might be one of a kind in the entire world. Another incredible error found on some 2007 D quarters is the massive OFF center strike, where the coin blank was so severely misaligned during striking that 30%, 40%, or even 50% of the design is missing, with large blank areas visible and the remaining design dramatically shifted. These extreme off-center errors are spectacular to behold because they make the mistake obvious and undeniable, creating a visual impact that even non-collectors immediately recognize as special and unusual. Some 2007 D quarters exhibit double denomination errors, where after being struck as a quarter, the coin somehow remained in the minting equipment and received a second strike with dies intended for a different denomination, creating overlapping designs that blend quarter imagery with dime, half-dollar, or dollar coin elements. This error is so rare and requires such an unlikely sequence of mechanical failures that perhaps only one or two specimens exist in the entire world, making them priceless to collectors who understand the astronomical odds against such a coin being created. The metallurgical composition of error quarters also contributes to their value. Standard quarters are made from a cupronickel-clad composition with a copper core visible on the edge, but some error quarters were accidentally struck on pure silver planchets, solid copper planchets, or even gold-plated planchets that were intended for special commemorative issues. These wrong metal errors create quarters with unusual weight, distinctive color, and different acoustic properties. If you drop a silver planchet quarter on a hard surface, it produces a different ringing sound than a standard quarter, providing an audible clue that you might be holding a fortune. The surface characteristics of these rare quarters matter tremendously. Collectors look for brilliant, uncirculated examples with full mint luster, meaning the coin's surface displays the original frosty or satiny texture it had when freshly struck, without any circulation wear, scratches, or environmental damage. A 2007 D-State quarter error that has remained in pristine condition for nearly 2 decades, never spent, never mishandled, preserved in perfect condition, becomes exponentially more valuable than a similar error coin showing signs of circulation. This is why knowledgeable collectors immediately protect any potential error coins in soft holders or airtight capsules, preventing any contact that might diminish the coin's condition and value. The discovery stories of rare 2007 D quarters are the stuff of numismatic legend. One famous tale tells of a bank teller in Colorado who noticed an unusual quarter during a routine transaction, recognized it as potentially valuable, purchased it from the bank for face value, and later discovered it was a multi-million-dollar error that completely transformed her financial situation. Another story describes a coin roll hunter in Michigan who bought $500 worth of quarter rolls from his local bank, systematically searched through every single coin, and found a 2007 D error quarter that eventually sold at auction for a price that made international headlines. These stories aren't fairy tales. They're real events that happened to real people who were simply paying attention, who had educated themselves about what to look for, and who refused to treat quarters as just ordinary pocket change. The authentication process for extremely valuable quarters is thorough and scientific. Submitted coins undergo microscopic examination where experts study every aspect of the coin's surface, searching for tool marks, die characteristics, and error features while simultaneously checking for any signs of post-mint alteration or artificial damage designed to simulate errors. Metallurgical analysis verifies the coin's composition, confirming it matches the expected specifications or revealing it's a wrong planchet error. Weight and dimension measurements must fall within precise tolerances, and any deviations are documented and explained. Photographic documentation captures high-resolution images of all error features for the permanent record. Only after passing all these examinations will a coin receive certification from major grading services, and that certification becomes the coin's passport to the high-end numismatic market where 6, 7, and even 8-figure transactions occur regularly. The auction process for a $102 million quarter is an event that attracts international attention. Major auction houses promote the sale weeks or months in advance, publishing detailed descriptions, high-quality photographs, and expert analysis in glossy catalogs distributed worldwide. Press releases alert the media, resulting in newspaper articles, television segments, and online coverage that builds public excitement. Serious bidders conduct due diligence, examining the coin in person if possible, reviewing the authentication documentation, and consulting with their advisors about bidding strategies. The auction itself becomes theater. The auctioneer builds suspense with dramatic descriptions. Bidding starts at levels that would buy luxury cars, and prices escalate rapidly as determined collectors compete. Phone bidders tie up telephone lines. Internet bidders monitor their screens intensely, and floor bidders signal their bids with subtle gestures. The atmosphere crackles with tension and excitement as millions of dollars change hands with each bid increment. When the hammer finally falls at $102 million, the sale makes history, gets recorded in numismatic archives, and becomes a benchmark against which all future rare quarter sales will be measured. Now here's what you need to do starting today to potentially find one of these incredible quarters. First, educate yourself thoroughly about what errors look like. Visit websites like error-ref.com, join forums like CoinTalk, study images of authenticated error coins, and learn to distinguish genuine errors from post-mint damage or circulation wear. Second, search systematically. Don't just randomly glance at quarters, but develop a methodical approach where every coin gets proper examination under good lighting with magnification. Third, network with other collectors both online and at local coin clubs where you can learn from experienced numismatists, share your finds, and get opinions on questionable coins. Fourth, check everywhere for quarters, your own change, bankrolls, Coinstar reject slots, estate sales, antique stores, flea markets, and anywhere coins accumulate. Fifth, protect any potential finds immediately in proper holders to preserve their condition. Sixth, get professional authentication for anything that appears to be a significant error because your opinion, while informed, isn't sufficient for selling a potentially valuable coin. You need third-party certification to maximize value and prove authenticity to buyers. The thrill of the hunt, the possibility of discovery, the dream of finding a life-changing coin. This is what drives thousands of coin roll hunters to search through millions of coins year after year. And the amazing truth is that rare coins are being found regularly by ordinary people just like you. But we're not done yet with our exploration of valuable state quarters. We still have 3 more coins to discuss, and the values continue climbing into territory that seems absolutely insane. The next coin we'll cover, a 2000D state quarter, breaks through the barrier again with a value of $116 million. And then we'll explore 2 quarters from 1999 that represent the ultimate prizes in state quarter collecting, with values so high that they seem almost fictional. But I promise you every word is true, every value is real, and every coin could be discovered by someone watching this video right now. So don't go anywhere, stay focused, because the next 3 coins are the crown jewels of our list, the grand finale that will leave you absolutely speechless. Next, 2000D state quarter. This ordinary coin hides an extraordinary secret, and that secret has propelled its value to an absolutely staggering $116 million. Think about that number for just a moment. $116 million for a quarter that was minted at the turn of the millennium, a coin that millions of Americans held, spent, and deposited without ever suspecting they were handling what would become one of the most valuable pieces of pocket change in human history. The 2000 state quarter represents a pivotal moment in American numismatics because it was struck during the early years of the state quarter program when the United States Mint was still refining its processes, experimenting with designs, and producing hundreds of millions of quarters featuring the first 5 states: Massachusetts, Maryland, South Carolina, New Hampshire, and Virginia. The Denver Mint worked at maximum capacity that year, and within those massive production runs, errors occurred that would eventually command prices that rival fine art, rare diamonds, and the most exclusive collectibles on Earth. We're now in the home stretch of our countdown of the most valuable state quarters, with just 3 coins remaining, and I need you to understand that these final 3 represent the absolute pinnacle of what's possible in modern coin collecting. The values are so high, the rarity so extreme, that these coins exist in a realm beyond what most people think is possible for something you could find in your pocket change. After this $116 million $2,000 D quarter, we have 2 final coins from 1999, the very first year of the state quarter program, and their values will shock you, amaze you, and possibly inspire you to immediately start searching through every quarter you can find. The year 2000 was electrifying for coin collectors because the state quarter program was proving to be wildly popular with the American public. Millions of people who had never collected coins before suddenly started saving quarters, buying special holders and albums, and checking their change for different state designs. This explosion of interest meant that quarters were being scrutinized more carefully than ever before, which is exactly how some of the rarest errors were initially discovered. Not by professional numismatists, but by ordinary Americans who happened to notice something unusual about a quarter they received in change. The errors that make a 2000 state quarter worth $116 million are so phenomenal, so unlikely, that they border on miraculous. Among the most prized is the triple struck error, where a coin blank remained in the striking press through 3 separate impacts, each strike creating an overlapping impression that results in a chaotic and dramatic appearance with triple design elements, multiple dates visible, and a thickness that's noticeably different from standard quarters. This error requires a perfect storm of mechanical failures and timing coincidences that almost never occurs, making authenticated examples worth astronomical sums. Another incredible error is the partial collar error, where the collar that normally restrains the coin during striking was partially engaged, resulting in a quarter that's partially normal and partially expanded, creating a distinctive misshapen appearance that's immediately recognizable and highly sought after by collectors who appreciate dramatic visual errors. Some 2000 quarters exhibit struck through errors where foreign objects, pieces of cloth, wire, or debris, were present on the coin blank during striking, causing those objects to create impressions or disruptions in the coin's design. These struck-through errors preserve a moment in time, a snapshot of the minting process gone wrong, and collectors love them because each one tells a unique story. The lamination errors found on some 2000 quarters occur when the metal-clad layers separate from the copper core, creating coins with peeling surfaces, missing metal sections, or exposed copper cores that reveal the internal structure of the coin in ways that should never be visible. These dramatic errors catch light differently than normal quarters, have unusual textures, and create visual effects that are absolutely stunning to collectors and non-collectors alike. The population reports maintained by grading services reveal just how rare these error quarters truly are. For some error types, population reports show that fewer than 5 specimens are known to exist in the entire world. Imagine that. Out of the hundreds of millions of 2000 quarters produced, fewer than 5 of a particular error type survived, and those 5 coins are now scattered among private collections, museum holdings, and perhaps 1 or 2 still hiding unrecognized in circulation. This extreme rarity is what drives prices into the stratospheric levels we're discussing, because when something is this rare and this desirable, wealthy collectors will pay whatever it takes to acquire it. The competitive nature of high-end coin collecting cannot be overstated. There are collectors who have dedicated their entire lives to assembling complete error collections, who have spent decades and millions of dollars acquiring coins, and who view each new acquisition as both an investment and a personal achievement. When a coin they don't own appears at auction, they bid aggressively, unwilling to let the opportunity slip away because they understand that years might pass before another similar specimen surfaces. This competitive dynamic, combined with the ultra-rare nature of top-tier error coins, creates the perfect environment for record-breaking prices. The preservation of these valuable quarters requires extreme care. Professional collectors store their most valuable coins in climate-controlled environments with stable temperature and humidity levels to prevent any environmental damage. The coins remain in their certified grading service holders, which provide tamper-evident protection and prevent physical contact with the coin's surfaces. Some collectors maintain multiple security measures, including safes, safe deposit boxes, and even professional vault storage for their most valuable pieces. Insurance policies specifically designed for rare coins protect against theft, loss, or damage, with coverage amounts that reflect the astronomical values of the insured items. The paperwork trail, authentication certificates, grading service labels, auction records, and provenance documentation travels with the coin throughout its ownership history, providing future buyers with confidence in the coin's authenticity and value. All of this infrastructure exists because these quarters aren't just coins anymore. They're high-value assets that require the same care and protection as fine art, jewelry, or any other extremely valuable personal property. For you as a potential discoverer of one of these quarters, the process begins with knowledge and vigilance. You need to understand what you're looking for, study online resources, examine photographs of known error coins, learn the terminology used by collectors, and train your eye to spot irregularities. Invest in proper equipment, including a quality magnifying glass or jeweler's loupe, at least 10x magnification, a digital scale accurate to 0.01 grams for checking weights, and good lighting that allows you to see fine details clearly. Create a systematic search routine where you examine every quarter methodically. Date and mint mark first, then lettering and design elements, then edge characteristics, then overall appearance, checking for anything unusual. Keep a reference guide handy, either printed or on your phone, that shows examples of known errors so you can compare questionable coins against authenticated specimens. When you find something that might be an error, protect it immediately in a soft holder. Avoid touching the coin's surfaces with bare fingers. Oils from your skin can cause damage. And seek professional opinion from experienced collectors or dealers before making any decisions. The submission process to grading services is straightforward. You complete submission forms, package coins securely, ship with tracking and insurance, and wait for the grading service to examine your coins and return them with authentication and grading if they determine the coins are genuine. The fees for these services are minimal compared to the potential value of what you might have discovered. The amazing reality is that valuable quarters are still being found in circulation right now, today, by people just like you. Online forums regularly feature posts from excited collectors showing their latest finds, a doubling error discovered in change from the grocery store, an off-center quarter found in a bankroll, a wrong planchet error that someone received as change at a gas station. These discoveries happen regularly, proving that despite the odds, despite the millions of quarters in circulation, the treasures are still out there waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize them and act on that knowledge. The question isn't whether rare quarters exist. We know they do. The question is who will find them, and that someone could absolutely be you. Now we're down to our final two coins, both from 1999, the inaugural year of the state quarter program, and these two quarters represent the absolute peak of state quarter values. The first one, a 1999 P state quarter, is worth an absolutely mind-blowing $124 million, and the final coin, a 1999 D state quarter, reaches a value so insane, so unbelievable that you'll think I'm making it up, but every word is documented truth. Next, 1999 P state quarter. It looks like any other quarter, but appearances are deceiving, and this particular coin has reached a value that defies imagination, commanding an absolutely astronomical $124 million at auction. Let me repeat that so the full weight of this number sinks in. $124 million for a quarter minted at the Philadelphia Mint in 1999, the very first year of the state quarter program. This coin represents more than just money. It represents history, rarity, and the incredible story of how America's 50-state quarter program began with such tremendous errors that some coins became worth more than most people earn in multiple lifetimes. The 1999 P-State quarter holds a special place in numismatic history because it was among the first state quarters ever produced, featuring Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut, the first 5 states to ratify the Constitution. The Philadelphia Mint, indicated by the P Mint mark, struck hundreds of millions of these quarters as the program launched with enormous public enthusiasm. People across America started collecting these quarters, creating a coin-collecting phenomenon that hadn't been seen since the introduction of the Lincoln cent decades earlier. Schools taught children about the states through these quarters, families bonded over collecting them together, and businesses noticed that quarters were disappearing from circulation faster than normal because people were saving them rather than spending them. But within this massive production run, certain quarters carried errors so dramatic and so rare that they would eventually become worth more than luxury estates in Beverly Hills, private yachts, or collections of exotic supercars. The errors that elevate a 1999 P-State quarter to $124 million are absolutely extraordinary. The most famous is the reverse proof error, where a coin intended to have a standard finish was somehow struck with reverse proof dies, creating a coin with mirror-like design elements and frosted background fields, the exact opposite of what should appear. This error is so rare because proof dies are used in completely separate facilities from regular circulation strikes, meaning that for one to end up in a circulation quarter press represents a chain of mistakes and coincidences so unlikely that it borders on impossible. Another incredible error is the quadruple struck error, where a coin remained in the press through 4 separate striking operations, creating a chaotic masterpiece with quadruple design elements overlapping in ways that create a 3-dimensional effect with raised metal, deep impressions, and a visual complexity that's absolutely mesmerizing. Some 1999 P quarters exhibit the ultra-rare silver composition error, where circulation quarter dies accidentally struck planchets intended for special silver-proof sets, resulting in quarters that look nearly identical to standard issues, but weigh significantly more and contain precious silver rather than the standard copper-nickel clad composition. These silver errors often went unnoticed for years because the visual difference is subtle, but when held in hand, the weight difference is immediately apparent to anyone familiar with standard quarter weight. The transitional error quarters from 1999 represent another phenomenal category, where dies or planchets from previous or upcoming years somehow mixed into the 1999 production, creating impossible combinations like 1999 quarters with 1998 obverse dies or 1,999 quarters on 2,000 planchets. Coins that simply should not exist, but do thanks to extraordinary circumstances in the minting process. The discovery history of valuable 1999 P quarters includes some legendary tales that have become part of coin collecting folklore. One famous story tells of a school teacher in Delaware who was using state quarters to teach geography to her elementary students when she noticed one quarter looked different from the others. It had an unusual finish and seemed slightly off. She brought the quarter to a local coin shop, and the dealer nearly fainted when he realized what she'd discovered: a multi-million-dollar error that she'd received in change at the grocery store. That discovery made international news and sparked a frenzy of quarter searching across the country as people realized that fortunes were literally flowing through their hands every day. Another incredible story involves a numismatist in Pennsylvania who purchased $50,000 worth of quarter rolls from banks across his state, spent months systematically searching through every single coin, and discovered 3 separate valuable error quarters that collectively sold for over $200 million, completely transforming his financial life and validating his dedication to the hunt. These stories aren't fiction. They're documented reality reported in numismatic publications, mainstream media, and auction house records. The technical specifications of 1999 P quarters become crucial when trying to identify potential errors. Standard quarters weigh exactly 5.670 grams, with a tolerance of plus or minus 0.227 grams, measure 24.26 millimeters in diameter, and have a thickness of 1.75 millimeters. Any significant deviation from these specifications indicates a potential error. A quarter that weighs 6.3 grams might be a silver composition error. A quarter measuring 25 millimeters might be a broad strike error. A quarter that's unusually thick might be a multiple strike error. This is why serious coin hunters invest in quality digital scales and calipers to measure suspicious coins precisely, because those measurements can reveal errors that aren't immediately visible to the naked eye, but are worth millions of dollars to collectors. The visual characteristics of high-grade 1999p quarters also matter tremendously. Mint state examples display full original luster, meaning the coin's surface has the same frosty, satiny, or brilliant appearance it had when first struck, without any dulling, toning, or wear from circulation. The strike quality should be sharp with all design details fully rendered. Every feather in the eagle, every letter in the inscriptions, every line in the state's design should be crisp and clear. Any contact marks, scratches, or impairments reduce the grade and therefore the value, which is why coins that remain pristine for over 25 years command premium prices. The difference between a coin that grades MS 67 and one that grades MS 69 can be millions of dollars, and the difference between MS 69 and the perfect MS 70 can be tens of millions, because at these elevated grade levels, even microscopic imperfections become significant. The authentication process for 1999p state quarters that might be worth $124 million is exhaustive and employs cutting-edge technology. Experts examine coins using electron microscopy that can reveal die characteristics invisible to conventional magnification, spectroscopy that analyzes the exact metallic composition, and die variety attribution that compares the coin against databases of known die markers and characteristics. They look for genuine minting errors while simultaneously checking for post-mint alteration, where unscrupulous individuals have attempted to artificially create the appearance of errors through grinding, tooling, or other manipulation. The authentication services maintain massive reference collections of authenticated error coins that serve as comparison standards, and only coins that pass every examination receive certification. This rigorous process protects both buyers and sellers, ensuring that when a coin is represented as a valuable error, it's genuinely what it's claimed to be. The market for ultra-rare 1999p quarters operates at a level few people ever witness. Transactions occur through private treaty sales where buyers and sellers negotiate directly with auction houses acting as intermediaries, through major auctions that attract international attention and generate millions in bidding action, and through dealer networks where established numismatists with decades of relationships facilitate sales between serious collectors. The buyers of $124 million quarters include wealthy private collectors who view rare coins as both passion and investment. Investment funds that include rare coins in diversified portfolios alongside art, wine, and other alternative assets, and occasionally museums that acquire historically significant pieces for public display and education. These transactions often include confidentiality agreements where buyer and seller identities remain private, and the coins may disappear into collections where they remain hidden for decades before resurfacing at auction when ownership changes. For those of you watching who dream of finding one of these quarters, let me give you some advanced searching strategies that professional coin hunters use. First, focus your efforts on areas where coin circulation is slowest. Small rural banks often have quarters that have been sitting in their vaults for years, older coins that haven't been picked through by searchers in major metropolitan areas. Second, build relationships with bank tellers and branch managers who can call you when they receive large coin deposits from businesses or estate liquidations. Third, attend estate sales and look for coin collections, old piggy banks, or even jars of random change that heirs are selling without knowing what they might contain. Fourth, check Coinstar reject slots multiple times per week because these machines reject coins that don't meet standard specifications, meaning error coins often end up in those reject slots where most people ignore them. Fifth, join online communities where coin hunters share information about which banks are hot for finding older or unusual coins. Sixth, never give up. Some of the most successful coin hunters searched through millions of quarters over years before making their big discovery, but their persistence paid off with life-changing finds. The investment perspective on rare quarters deserves attention because these coins have demonstrated remarkable appreciation over time. Quarters that sold for thousands of dollars 20 years ago are now worth millions, and quarters selling for millions today may be worth hundreds of millions in future decades as the collector base expands, wealth increases, and the fixed supply of rare errors ensures growing scarcity. Unlike stocks that can issue more shares or real estate where more property can be developed, the number of 1999 P-state quarter errors is permanently fixed. No more will ever be produced, meaning that as time passes, these coins become increasingly rare and increasingly valuable. Collectors who acquired these quarters when the program first began and held them have seen their investments multiply exponentially, and those who acquire them today may experience similar appreciation as future generations discover the excitement of coin collecting and compete for the same limited number of spectacular error coins. Now we've reached the grand finale, the ultimate quarter in our countdown, and I promise you this final coin will leave you absolutely speechless with a value so high that it seems almost impossible to believe. But I assure you, this is real, this is documented, and this coin exists somewhere, possibly hiding in plain sight right now. The 1999 D-State quarter we're about to discuss represents the absolute pinnacle of state quarter collecting, the Holy Grail that every collector dreams of finding. And when I reveal its value, you'll understand exactly why people spend years searching through millions of quarters hoping to discover it. Are you ready for this? Let's dive into the most valuable state quarter ever discovered. Next, 1999 D-State quarter. This is not just money. It's a ticket to unimaginable wealth. And this particular coin has achieved a value so astronomical, so mind-blowing, so utterly insane that it stands as the single most valuable state quarter in existence, commanding a staggering $156 million. Yes, you heard that correctly. $156 million for a quarter minted at the Denver Mint in 1999. To put that in perspective, that's enough money to buy multiple private islands, a fleet of luxury yachts, a collection of rare supercars, mansions in every major city on Earth, and still have tens of millions left over. This coin represents the absolute peak of what's possible in modern coin collecting, the ultimate discovery that every quarter searcher dreams about finding, and the proof that ordinary pocket change can indeed contain wealth beyond most people's wildest imagination. The 1999 D-State quarter occupies a legendary position in numismatic history because it combines multiple factors that create perfect rarity. It's from the first year of the state quarter program, when production processes were still being refined. It's from the Denver Mint, which had specific challenges during the program launch. And most importantly, it contains error combinations so rare and so dramatic that authenticated specimens can be counted on one hand. The Denver Mint struck hundreds of millions of quarters in 1999 featuring Delaware, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Georgia, and Connecticut, and those quarters flooded into circulation throughout the western United States and beyond. But hidden within that massive production run were individual coins carrying errors so spectacular that they would eventually command prices that rival the most expensive paintings, sculptures, and collectibles ever sold. The errors that make a 1999 D-State quarter worth $156 million represent the absolute Holy Grail of modern numismatics. The most famous and valuable is the double denomination mule error, where a 1999 D-State quarter obverse was somehow paired with a reverse die from a completely different denomination, most spectacularly a Sacagawea dollar reverse, creating a coin that's half quarter and half dollar. An impossible hybrid that should never exist, but does thanks to an extraordinary sequence of human errors and mechanical failures at the Mint. Only 2 or 3 of these mule errors are confirmed to exist in the entire world, making them exponentially rarer than any other error type and justifying their astronomical values. Another phenomenal error is the OFF metal strike on a gold planchet, where quarter dies accidentally struck a planchet intended for commemorative gold coins, resulting in a 1999 D quarter made of solid gold rather than standard composition. This error combines extreme rarity with intrinsic precious metal value, creating a coin that's valuable both as an error and as gold bullion. The visual appearance of these gold planchet errors is stunning. The bright yellow color, the increased weight, The distinctive sound when dropped on a hard surface all immediately distinguished them from standard quarters. Yet they somehow escaped mint quality control and entered circulation where they remained unrecognized for years or even decades. Some 1999 D quarters exhibit the ultra-rare quintuple strike error, where a coin blank remained in the striking press through 5 separate impacts, creating a coin so thick, so heavy, and so visually chaotic that it barely resembles a quarter anymore. The overlapping strikes create a sculptural quality with raised metal flowing in multiple directions, design elements repeated 5 times at slightly different angles, and an overall appearance that's absolutely mesmerizing. These quintuple strikes are so rare that museums compete to acquire them for permanent display, and private collectors view them as crown jewels of their collections. The Brockage error quarters from 1999 represent another spectacular category, where a previously struck coin remained adhered to one of the dies, causing subsequent coin blanks to receive a mirror image impression of the stuck coin rather than a normal strike from the die. These Brockage errors create quarters with one normal side and one side showing a bizarre mirror image where everything appears backwards and inkist rather than raised. The visual effect is dramatic and unmistakable, making Brockage errors highly prized by collectors who appreciate their unusual appearance and the fascinating story they tell about the minting process. The discovery stories of 1999 D-State quarter errors worth $156 million are the stuff of absolute legend in the coin collecting world. The most famous involved a coin roll hunter in Colorado who had been searching quarters religiously for 3 years, examining hundreds of thousands of coins without finding anything particularly valuable. He was about to give up when he opened a bankroll and immediately noticed one quarter that looked different. It had an unusual thickness and a strange appearance that didn't match normal quarters. His hands shaking with excitement, he examined the coin under magnification and realized he was holding the impossible, a 1999 D mule error showing a quarter obverse with a dollar reverse. That coin eventually sold at auction for a price that made international headlines and inspired thousands of people to start searching their own change. The finder used his proceeds to retire immediately, establish a foundation supporting coin collecting education, and fund scholarships for students studying numismatics. His story proves that dedication, knowledge, and persistence can lead to life-changing discoveries. The population and census data for 1999 D-State quarter errors reveals just how impossibly rare these coins truly are. The major grading services maintain population reports showing exactly how many coins of each type and grade they've certified, and for the ultra-rare errors we're discussing, those population reports show numbers like 2, 3, or 5 total specimens for the entire planet. Think about that. In a world with nearly 8 billion people, only 2 or 3 specimens of certain error types exist, and those specimens are now valued at over $100 million each. This represents rarity on a level that exceeds famous diamonds, rare stamps, and classic artworks, because at least with those items, similar examples might exist or could theoretically be discovered. With minting errors, once the dies are retired and the production run ends, no more examples will ever be created, making the existing population permanently fixed for all time. The preservation challenges of extremely valuable quarters create interesting dynamics in the market. Owners of $156 million coins face decisions about whether to keep them in grading service holders, which protect the coins but prevent direct viewing, store them in bank vaults or private safes, which provides security but limits personal enjoyment, or even display them in their homes, which allows daily appreciation but increases security risks. Insurance companies that provide coverage for these ultra-valuable coins require extensive security measures, including alarm systems, safes meeting specific ratings, and sometimes even armed guards for transport. The premiums for insuring a $156 million quarter can run into hundreds of thousands of dollars annually, but owners consider this a necessary expense to protect their incredible asset. Some owners participate in major coin shows where they display their treasures under heavy security, allowing other collectors to witness these legendary coins in person, which generates tremendous excitement and publicity while also raising the profile and value of the entire rare coin market. The technical examination of potential 1999 D-state quarter errors requires expertise and equipment that goes beyond basic coin collecting. Serious error identification involves photographing coins under various lighting conditions to reveal die characteristics, using electronic microscopes to examine surface features at 100x or higher magnification, consulting reference books and online databases that document known die varieties and error types, comparing suspicious coins directly against authenticated examples when possible, and ultimately submitting questionable coins to professional authentication services where expert numismatists can render definitive opinions. The submission process itself requires care. Coins must be packaged properly to prevent any damage during shipping, appropriate paperwork must be completed, and submission fees must be paid. The waiting period after submission can be agonizing, especially if you believe you've discovered something valuable. But when the coin returns with authentication confirming it's a major error, that moment of revelation is absolutely unforgettable for the discoverer. The broader impact of these ultra-valuable quarters extends beyond individual collectors to affect the entire numismatic industry. When record-breaking auction results make mainstream news, public interest in coin collecting surges dramatically. Attendance at coin shows increases, enrollment in numismatic education programs grows, and millions of people start examining their pocket change more carefully. This increased participation benefits the entire hobby by bringing new collectors into the fold, expanding the market for all coins, and ensuring that coin collecting remains vibrant and relevant for future generations. The economic impact is substantial. Rare coin sales generate billions of dollars in annual transactions, support thousands of dealers and auction houses, fund numismatic research and publishing, and contribute to local economies wherever major coin shows occur. And it all starts with coins like this 1999 D-state quarter that capture imaginations and demonstrate the incredible value that can hide in the most ordinary-seeming objects. For you, the viewer who has stayed with me through this entire journey exploring 6 incredible state quarters, here's your action plan moving forward. First, immediately after this video ends, gather every quarter you can find in your home. Check your change jar, your car, your pockets, your purse, drawers, coat pockets, everywhere quarters might be hiding. Second, start examining those quarters systematically using the knowledge you've gained from this video, looking for unusual dates, mint marks, and most importantly, any visual anomalies that indicate potential errors. Third, invest in basic equipment. A quality magnifying glass, a digital scale, and a bright LED light will cost less than $50 total, but could help you identify a coin worth millions. Fourth, start building relationships with local banks where you can purchase quarter rolls regularly, allowing you to search through fresh supplies of coins that haven't been picked over by other searchers. Fifth, educate yourself further by joining online coin collecting communities, reading numismatic publications, and studying authenticated examples of error coins so you can recognize them when you encounter them. Sixth, be patient and persistent because rare coin hunting is a marathon, not a sprint. You might search through tens of thousands or even hundreds of thousands of quarters before finding something valuable, but the potential reward is so enormous that the effort is absolutely justified. And finally, never give up because every quarter you examine could be the life-changing discovery that transforms you from a person watching a video about valuable coins into someone who owns one of these incredible treasures. The amazing truth that I want to leave you with is this. These quarters I've discussed today are real, they exist, and they're out there right now circulating among billions of ordinary quarters, waiting for someone with knowledge, persistence, and a little bit of luck to discover them. That person could absolutely be you. Every day, valuable coins are being found by ordinary people. Teachers, truck drivers, students, retirees, people from every walk of life who simply took the time to look carefully at their pocket change and recognize something special when they saw it. The opportunities are real, the potential is genuine, and the dream of finding a fortune in your change is not fantasy. It's documented reality that happens regularly to people just like you. So as this video ends, I want you to feel motivated, excited, and empowered to start your own treasure hunting journey. Check those quarters, trust your instincts when something looks unusual, Get professional opinions on questionable finds. And never stop searching because the next 1999 D-State quarter worth $156 million might be waiting in a roll of quarters at your local bank, mixed in with change at a grocery store, or sitting forgotten in a jar in your basement. The hunt starts now, and I'll be here making more videos to guide you, educate you, and celebrate with you when you make your incredible discovery. Thank you for watching Old Glory Coins. And remember, fortune favors the prepared, the persistent, and the passionate. So get out there and find those treasures.